got a beer review for you here. Abita's Grapefruit Harvest IPA. It's an India Pale Ale. It's a 6% alcohol by volume. And Abita is one of those companies that's actually responsible for me getting interested in the idea of different, craft breweries and craft beers and stuff like that. Local here to South Louisiana. But, let's see what we got going on here. Well, it's certainly a pale ale. Light golden brown, almost more of a yellow color than a brown, but a little bit of a hint of, a little darker than what you'd call yellow. Relatively fizzy head. Let's see what we got going on here. The smell. Okay. A little bit of a hoppy smell to it. Kind of a little bit of a citrus, kind of a fresh, almost a fruitiness to it. Head's dissipating. Looks like it laces pretty well. Beer's made for drinking. Let's see what we got. Okay. There's definitely a bitterness to it that's not necessarily hops. Kind of like the aftertaste of grapefruit, to be honest with you. There's some hops to it. There's kind of a citrus, tangy background going on to it. The literature on the bottle states, Abita Grapefruit Harvest is a brilliant golden IPA with a subtle zest of grapefruit flavor and aroma that enhances the strong hop character. This bright, snappy brew is made with real Louisiana Ruby-Red Grapefruits, pale, Pilsner, and caramel malts, and Cascade hops. And of course they're out of Abita Springs, Louisiana, and I'm looking for the website. Find the website, I'll put it, on the screen. I'll definitely have the link below in the description. I don't see a drink by date or best by or any kind of a date showing necessarily where it was, when it was made or when it should be drank by. Like I said, it's a 6% alcohol by volume, IPA, and it's definitely hoppy. But it's also got that, I don't mean to pull the pun from it, like a zesty citrus thing going on. There's a hair of sweetness to it. Kind of a fruity sweetness going on with it. And, like a hint of a citrus kind of a backbone going on there, but mostly it's real hoppy, and there's a bitterness that is pretty resembling of like the aftertaste of a grapefruit. You know, if you don't put anything on the grapefruit, you know, like grapefruit the way it tastes naturally. I'm one of those weird people that actually I like IPAs and I also like heavy malt beers, but I like most beers as well. See, it's a light, you know, it's a relatively light beer in color. Um, Carbonation is, I'd say, between light and medium as far as carbonation. It's not heavily carbonated, but you can tell it's there. No taste of alcohol whatsoever in it. I don't detect the alcohol and the flavor of it at all, really, to be honest with you. Mostly, like I said, it's very light on the palate. Not very heavy beer. Very easy to drink. Very clean beer. The finish is very, very clean on it, with a hint of the hops, you know, background to it as far as the finish. The initial flavor is actually a little fruity, a little bit of sweetness to it, and a nice, zesty, vibrant, kind of a bright taste to it, if that makes any sense. Probably not explaining it in proper words, but it's a very refreshing beer. Like I said, Abita is a company that here relatively local to Baton Rouge, in Abita Springs, Louisiana. They put out a lot of different kinds of seasonal beverages, and I saw a grapefruit IPA. I gotta try it. There's a lot of different types of hops and stuff that, from what I've read up on, apparently can kind of give hints of somewhat of a grapefruit type of a flavor to it. But this is definitely like a grapefruit aftertaste going on with it, with a hint of the fruitiness up front when you take the sip, and it kind of finishes with a mixture of a grapefruit, that a little bit of a tart sourness to it, kind of mixed with like a hoppy bitterness as well. But the that grapefruit fruitiness doesn't linger for long at all, and you're kind of left with like a hoppy, you know, taste as far as the finish goes. Not a whole lot of lacing to it, really. It looked like it was going to leave a lot more lacing than it did. I like IPAs, and I've had some flavored beers that really didn't even taste like a beer anymore. This still tastes like a beer. It tastes like a very hoppy beer, with like a hint of a citrusy kind of a bitterness to it, tartness to it, but also a little hint of that fruitiness coming through as well. Kind of interesting. Primarily, it comes across as a very hoppy beer. Lots of hops to it. Anyway, let's get the final chug down here. Cheers, fellas and ladies. last swig. Very similar to the first swig. You can taste the grapefruit. That zestiness, that kind of tangy, sweet sour kind of thing going on a little bit. Of it a little bit more with bigger sips. And also, like I said, it was somewhat a little cloudy. You could actually see like sediment floating around in it. Which of course probably settled a little bit. That's probably why that last swig or bigger swigs tend to become more prevalent, the taste of the grapefruit. But good beer. I like it. Refreshing beer. Not heavy at all. Very light mouthfeel to it. Very comfortable carbonation to it. A little higher carbonation than some of your heavier beers, but not so much you can feel all bloated and all, belching all over the place and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know when this beer is necessarily available. There's not a lot of information on the bottle. I really should have done a little bit more research on it, to be honest with you. But I'm a bit behind on my reviews due to just circumstances beyond my control. You know how that is. Hence the reason I needed to do a beer review even more. But like I said, it's probably like Abita.com or something like that, but I don't know exactly that for a fact. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, post it, when I'm doing the editing, and also I'll leave the link down in the description as usual. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the review. Abita Grapefruit Harvest IPA. Go ahead and check it out. A lot of people aren't into flavored beers, but this really wasn't heavily flavored. It tasted more like a very hoppy beer than necessarily a flavored beer. The flavor kind of came kind of like a weird little hint of yin and yang, so to speak, the sweet and the sour, and which I guess would be the characteristics of grapefruit to a certain extent. Ruby-Red Grapefruit anyway, which is not really a standard grapefruit. There is a sweetness to the Ruby-Red Grapefruit. There's also a bitter aftertaste to it. It's very similar to the same type of bitterness that hops has. I'm not so sure if it's that hoppy or that much of, this, grapefruit or whatever. I'm not really certain. But there was a fruitiness to it as well, which was nice and kind of light, refreshing. Not a heavy beer at all. I think I'll probably, ran my mouth long enough on it. But hope you enjoyed the review. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. I appreciate all the people out there that have subscribed. Feel free to comment. Check out some other videos. I've got a Facebook page. I'll have links below in the description. Facebook page, One Bonehead. Set up a Twitter account, so I tweet now, but for what it's worth. But anyway, y'all have a wonderful evening, and I will catch up with y'all later. Cheers.